Killer Kross.
Is kind of a luchador.
Kind of.
He wrestles in AAA, but won't be wrestling in New York for AAA. I'm so behind on the Impact specific news for the website because last week or the week before, I do not know how long ago it was. I think it was last week because I was doing the wedding stuff last week. Impact announced that they're partnering with AAA to co-host the AAA show in New York. That's going to be at the Hulu Theater, which is that small venue that you would often see for like the NFL drafts and NBA drafts back in the 80s and 90s. It's connected to the MSG, but a lot of people thought AAA was going to run Madison Square Garden. They didn't have the ticket sales to run it. I think they're clocking in at around 2,500. Madison Square Garden holds like 23,000. Just missed it. And apparently, in order to help boost domestic sales, Impact is partnering up with AAA to help give AAA a foothold in the New York market. Apparently, AAA thought, hey, New Japan did it, and then New Japan's like, bitch, please. Killer Kross is working, I guess, for both. And apparently, according to everyone's favorite gerbil worshipping cultist, Sean Ross Sapp, he has been pulled from the New York show that AAA was running, allegedly, because Impact was afraid of a lawsuit from Kross because Kross believes that Impact has violated their contract. Now, this is all stemming from a report from Mike Johnson and from Bill Pritchard. Let it be known that I've had run-ins with PW Insider, my bad, and WrestleZone in the past. Zach, do you remember that Jeff Jarrett interview we did?
I do.
We did a big old Jeff Jarrett interview. Got us a lot of traction back in the day, about 4 years ago. And Raj Giri, which is why I fucking hate him, of Wrestling Inc. deliberately took it out of context to make it seem like Jeff Jarrett was slandering The Rock. He did not slander The Rock. He never slandered The Rock. In fact, he heaped praise on Rocky Maivia. Or Rocky Johnson, no. Dwayne The Rocky Johnson. Dwayne's Johnson Rocky. And I had a shit fit that entire day because it wasn't my story they were picking up at that time. Every outlet was picking up their Wrestling Inc. story that took the quote out of context with the misleading headline. WrestleZone and PW Insider were one of the only two websites to actually get back to me. And someone from WrestleZone, I think it may have been Wade Keller, I think. Was it Wade Keller? No, Wade Keller was somebody else. PW Torch. So PW Torch as well, the three of them. Wade Keller actually called me and helped correct the misleading headline. So I have some respect for these outlets. Let me be very clear about that. I don't have any respect for Sean Ross Sapp. Sean Ross Sapp actually Googles his own name or searches it on Twitter. I know this because all 4 conversations I've had with him on Twitter, Zach, started with me saying his name, not tweeting it, not quote tweeting, not hashtagging, not adding him, just saying his name in a sentence. And the only way you'll ever see that is if you're searching your name. And all 4 times has always been from that. So he fucking searches his name. He's a goddamn drama queen. So I don't trust Fightful. I don't trust narcissistic human beings. They're reporting the lawsuit Killer Kross AAA conundrum, specifically. They're the only ones that I've seen so far running it themselves. They're the ones that are talking about it. They're the ones that are pushing the narrative. They're also pushing the narrative that Impact talent are only receiving a fraction of their merchandising royalties, even though most Impact talents have a pro wrestling tees and independent t-shirt outlets for themselves anyway. So I really don't know what the fuck's that about. And he also tried to tie it into the fact that Impact is paying for hotels, even though the transition was something to the effect like, and in related news, Impact is paying for their hotels, and there are reports that they're not paying for all of their merchandising. Like, that's the transition. I understand what he was trying to do, but he's such a shit writer. Like, he really is. He's not good. But PW Insider and WrestleZone and several other outlets are reporting that the reason why Killer Kross hasn't been on TV was that Kross at Slammiversary, the day of, allegedly, it's not specifically stated day of, but the wording of the posts that they both provided seems to indicate that it was a decision made day of. So I'm just letting this be clear. there is no confirmation it's the day of. It's just this is the way the wording frames it. That the day of Slammiversary, after 6 weeks of building up to a first blood match, Killer Kross tells Impact Management, I'm not going to blade tonight. Now, Zach, let me just ask you this question. Have you ever seen a first blood match end without blood?
No. Can't say I have.
Yeah, neither have I. I've seen first blood matches end when they're what? Let me rephrase that, because that was just a bunch of twist tongue and tripping. Ooh, that'd be a good shirt. Twist tongue and tripping. I've seen a lot of first blood matches not end with blood.
Yes.
Super Bowl 1999, you whore. Or was it Uncensored 1999? Still, you whore. So, Kross day of says, I'm not doing this. Impact Management then is left to scramble to find fake blood. Now, listen, it's not hard to find fake blood. I Googled it. And if you use Google, you know that's not always guaranteed to get the right results. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
In fact, that's the same for all search engines. So I Googled it, and Party City had fake blood, $4.99 for an entire gallon.
Bam.
Bam. However, $4.99, 3 p.m. on a Sunday, in the middle of like, I don't know what Dallas looks like in the outskirts, but in the outskirts of Dallas, I don't know if there's a fucking Party City nearby. And who's to say that there's even someone available on your staff to go get that blood? You know,
True.
like you were running with a tight knit, only as needed type of crew. Everyone's got a purpose. You don't have just some 17-year-old grip who's Dixie's actual nephew, whose name isn't actually Ethan, who's sitting around going, I'm bored. You can't send that. You don't have someone like that to send to the fucking store. So you got to make sure that if you send someone, that they don't have a bigger purpose on the show. Could you imagine sending Don Callis or fucking Josh well, you can send Josh Matthews anywhere that he wants. A quiet booth would be an improvement over his ass. But so it was they were left scrambling, and they did the spot where they did the blood packet in the mouth, which is why they did that stupid fucking ending where Eddie took the fucking kendo stick and shoved it into Kross's mouth and Kross bled. Nah. And everyone online's like, yeah, Killer Kross, you tell Impact, because apparently Killer Kross had concerns about medical personnel on site and previous pre-matching blood testing. But this is all kind of going hand-in-hand with a second story that we didn't cover. But it did make the rounds in late June. June 23rd, I want to say it was. There was an event in southwest Indiana about 20 minutes away from the Ohio Valley Wrestling Center in Kentucky. And at this event, practically everyone bled. And it was such a big story that it became even bigger when Indiana health officials released a statement saying that anyone who was at the show should go get tested for hepatitis C and HIV. So when you hear that, Zach, what's your first inclination?
My first inclination, or the inclination of the paranoid masses?
Both. Like, when you hear that sentence, like, what do you think is happening? Like, do you think?
Well, when I hear that sentence said out loud in that manner, it's just like, okay, something has been going on in that area. This is just a medical advisory.
Did you read the article already?
Be cautious. Yes.
God damn it.
Now, if I was a paranoid delusional masses, then I would think that the pro wrestling train wreck, is that what it's called?
Yes, or something like that.
Is like is part of the cause of the Hep C.
Well, okay, so let's just pull back the curtain a bit. Originally, when the news hit, everyone thought someone on the show was infected.
Yeah.
That was the initial statement, and that's what I was trying to lead you to the water. Apparently, you can lead a Zach to the point, but you can't make him get it. He's all right. He's a good boy. Give him carrots. Give him ear scratches, too. And there was actually a pro wrestler in March who came out. He was a deathmatch wrestler in Indiana. Said, he came out and revealed that he had HIV because of all this bloodletting that he did in death matches. Turns out it's not exactly a healthy thing to do. Fuck deathmatch. Yeah, fuck deathmatch wrestling, right? So you then have this story blow up, and everyone thinks that someone at the show is infected. However, what it actually turns out to be is a much bigger, but also a lot less impactful story towards the wrestling community. That portion of Indiana is dealing with a Hep C outbreak. It had nothing to do with the wrestling outlet, which I believe is from Tennessee, by the way. So when that story broke, everyone started to get concerned because they thought someone in the industry was HIV positive, because we all remember the Hannibal and Abdullah the Butcher story, where Hannibal claims that he got an STD from Abdullah the Butcher because Butcher had an STD that was undiagnosed, or he knew of it and wasn't disclosing to his competitors, and he ended up getting infected because of it.
Would not be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it happened. I think he had to settle out of court, actually. And I think it was like hepatitis, because apparently Hannibal claims he's no longer afflicted with it. So that brings us to that weekend, that June weekend, which was the next weekend when the story blew up. And Killer Kross saw the story and decided, I'm no longer feeling safe. I'm not doing this. The story says he was unhappy with Impact's medical personnel or something to that effect. Naturally, people started to run with this idea that Impact didn't bring medical in to the show. But if you read it, it reads more of the lines that Killer Kross didn't trust the medical personnel that Impact had brought to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I did a deep, like, this story only took 15 minutes to write. It's not hard. It took me 3 hours to finish the story because I spent 2.5 hours going through Texas state law. If you think Texas is stupid to begin with, start reading their revised code. It's fucking atrocious. It's dumb. I'm surprised I didn't see a kindergarten concealed carry permit. Because it was fucking dumb. Are you a toddler? Would you like to have a concealed carry permit? In Texas, you can. So, I found it. I found what I was looking for. And essentially, Texas requires at all pro wrestling events, all boxing and MMA, and anything that involves any type of violence, competitive nature, or possibility of blood spilling. I said bloodletting before, but it's not technically the term you want to use. Any type of blood spillage needs to require an on-site medical personnel. That is the only way you're going to get licensed and allowed to run the show. So Impact by law has to have a medical professional on hand. Now, to be clear, a lot of people think that means, a doctor. It could be a nurse. It could be a what's the step up from a nurse? It's like something nurse something. It's not like nurse regent, but it's like something like that. They're the ones who run like the minute clinics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They can prescribe medications and stuff is essentially what they are. I can't remember the term for them. And I have 2 relatives who are that, so I feel really fucking stupid, yeah. We're going to Google this, because I need to know. Nurses who can prescribe medication. Let's see. Nurse practitioner. I remembered before I even read it. God damn it.
There you go.
I know what you just said. As it was loading, it just flashed in my head, practitioner. And then it loaded, I was like, God damn it. So a nurse practitioner. You could have a nurse practitioner, usually EMTs, someone along that lines. Now, all of those names I mentioned, EMTs, nurses, nurse practitioners, they're not actually qualified to take and administer a blood test. At least usually. Like, you have to be a specific qualification to do that. So the way this read to me was that Kross wasn't happy with the people who were there. My inclination is that it was either because Impact had signed off on them personally, or they were not the type of medical professional who could do what he felt comfortable doing, i.e. a blood test. So there were medical professionals there, and I'm going to reach out eventually to someone to see if we can't get a quote. Because this is the biggest, to me, the most damning part of this story, is the rumor that is running around that they didn't have any medical professional there, which I've never heard to be the case. There's also another story that Sean Ross Sapp put out there that apparently Impact Talent have to sign, not an NDA, but a negative non-disclosure, if you will. You cannot speak ill of the company during or after your time there. But the thing is, though, several people already have. So I'm not sure where he's getting that from, and I'm not sure he understands how contract law works. Just throwing that one out there, folks. Oh. And let's be clear, it's not like, you can't have a problem with Impact. People have problems with Impact. I don't care if you have a problem with Impact. That's fine.
Right.
But the problem is people take their words, like other people take those personal opinions and run with it. Like, this is my justification. So I understand some people's trepidation for shitting on Impact if you don't have a good time there, because it feels like Impact's that kid at the, who has his birthday party and feels that he has to cater to all the cool kids, even though it's his goddamn birthday party. I get that. So everything Sean Ross Sapp said about this story, I have a lot of issues with because there's a lot of big holes in it. But the crux of the situation falls with Bill Pritchard, and Mike Johnson's story, which was that Kross refused Blade, which we saw. You and I watched the event. We even both said that it was a stupid ending.
Yeah.
So that tracks.
Mm-hmm.
1 + 1 = duh. And then we have the further continuation that they've sent him home after that, saying, basically, if you're not playing ball, then you're not playing at all. Now, I'm of the mindset that if you're not going to use someone, let them go. Don't be petty. I'm also of the mindset that if I hire you to do a job and you agree to it, you do the fucking job. Now, to Kross's defense, he was. Until he wasn't. Because on Slammiversary, he chose not to do the job. And it's a little cynical for me to sit here and think that he's somehow all of a sudden now more worried than ever about something like hepatitis when he's been exposing himself to all sorts of pathogens in his life prior to that point. He went to Thailand and got a tattoo? Jeez. I've never heard of anyone getting sick from a tattoo before, have you? You go to a foreign country and they have no standards and practices. They have no oversight. You're cool with that, but you only bleeding, no one else, for 25 seconds, that concerns you? What? Just saying, man. The other crux was that Kross was asking for a raise because of a situation within his family. Apparently, he's dealing with some kind of familial issue, and that's why he's demanding more money now instead of waiting for the end of his deal, because he's having to pay for all of these expenses now that are coming up. The only problem is, Zach, I have to point out, he went to Thailand in March.
He did.
Yeah, he did. Took his hot girlfriend, went to Thailand. That ain't a cheap flight, man. That's like $1,800 a person. You can fly to Thailand. Spend 7, 8, 9, 10 grand in Thailand. But now you gotta worry about money? I don't know. That seems... Listen, I'm someone who's frugal as fuck out of necessity. I don't have the kind of expenses that I wish I had, because if I did, holy hell. We'd have a much better internet connection. We'd have a much better recording system. Everything I have is the barest of bones, the things I can make work. I feel quite ingenuitive. Is that the right word? Ingenuitive? Intuitive? Intuitive is a completely different word.
Yes, it's engine.
Right, like engine sounds right. Like it's engineering.
Yeah.
Ingenuitive.
And there's ingenuity. That's a thing.
You're right.
So but I don't know that ingenuitive is.
It is now. So I'm very ingenuitive.
Right.
I can make things work. I have a free recording system. I have a free photo editing system. Not stolen. Be clear. These are open source, available, free shit that you can download anytime. GIMP and what is that? OBS. Go for it. I don't know why a photo editing system is called GIMP though. That sounds like a bad choice for names.
Yeah, I
know it's like graphic impact photos, but like come on. So Kross is unhappy with his pay because of these familial reasons. Scarlett Bordeaux left because of the same issue. Yet guys are always saying, like Ethan Page, you know what you're being offered when you sign. Why is this now an issue? So I have questions about who's leaking this news, because it's not coming from Impact. Because one would think, if this was coming from Impact, it wouldn't be coming right before Killer Kross is about to launch a potential lawsuit. Think about the timing of this. Things are... You have to understand people. People come to us to tell us things when it's important that it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they will handle it themselves. There is a good kind of not the perfect one-to-one comparison, but there's a good comparison. There's a very infamous case of about 2 years ago. Stanford swimmer Brock Turner sexually assaulted a woman. The woman's name was never identified until she chose to identify herself. There was no leaking of that name. You know what I mean? And if this is a similar one-to-one comparison, Killer Kross, if he was really unhappy with all this and really didn't have a motive here to sell, he would out and out just say, this is what's going on. Now, he did kind of do that vaguely on the P.D. Williams podcast, but roundabout, there is a potential lawsuit coming down the pipe. The news of a potential breach of contract on Impact's hand via Killer Kross, or in regards to Killer Kross, I should say, is happening in the moment. And now they're trying to frame this situation of Killer Kross felt unsafe during his booking at Slammiversary. All this stuff is coming out specifically for a reason, and the timing of it is all connected. This is not coincidental. The first thing they tell you, because I think I did pretty good in my schooling. I went and started my criminology degree. First thing they teach you when you're investigating a crime, there's no such thing as coincidences. Turns out that's a pretty apt idea when you're following a story. There are no such things as coincidences. Potential lawsuit, news leaked, all right before a major event that Killer Kross was originally booked for. You think this is coincidental? 3 things all of a sudden happening at the same time? I don't fucking think so, y'all. Now, the problem is, I'm not on Killer Kross's side on this. I think he's been handling this the wrong way since the jump. I know he's been trying to do right by himself and by the company, but let's be honest, if he was doing right by himself and the company would have paid him by now. They feel at a certain point that Kross has lost his validity. He's said on the P.D. Williams podcast, which isn't called the P.D. Williams podcast, it's just P.D. Williams' podcast. I forgot what it's called. Maple Leaf Muscle? I don't know. Did you know that for a long time I thought it was Make Believe Muscle? That was his nickname, and I thought it was so mean.
I mean, I can see how you make that mistake.
Because whenever Scott Steiner says, Make Believe Muscle! I'm like, God damn, Petey, why are you taking this shit? But then I eventually heard it from someone else, and it was Maple Leaf Muscle. I'm like, oh. Okay. So I believe that it's at a certain point during the last few months, Killer Kross's intentions of wanting to re-sign with Impact just at a higher rate changed, and he does want out. Or at least he wanted to leverage a contract from Impact against whoever else was signing him to get a better counteroffer. I cannot prove any of what I'm saying. It's specifically speculative, but it makes sense. Because why would you not re-sign a top talent who people love to your brand unless you had logistical issues with him? Unless you had some type of question of his character. Now, I've had conversation with Killer Kross in the past, not to humble brag. Dude comes off as very respectful. He's very humble. He believes in to use a specific term that some of you MMA fans will understand, the Bushido code of conduct, this idea of respecting the fight, which is why he doesn't want to do MMA, because he respects the fight too much. He loves the performance aspect of pro wrestling, which is why he does it. But he is a practicing mixed martial artist. I think he takes jiu-jitsu, I think is what he said. So he's someone who has, at least on the surface, high caliber, high fiber, high moral standards. But that doesn't mean that's who he is on the inside. Now, to be fair, we could be saying the same thing about management of Impact. I believe that this is either a Scott D'Amore situation, because Scott D'Amore has had the tendency of kind of putting foot in mouth before. But I believe more specifically this is an Ed Nordholm situation. I believe Ed Nordholm feels slighted, and there is good reason to feel slighted. Killer Kross was, with due respect, and I mean this just terms of the name value, a nobody. Who knew who Killer Kross was before he joined Impact? I'm raising my hand because I did. Did you?
Of course not.
Did you? Children at home? that, Captain? I think we're on the wrong show. Oh, lives in a pineapple under the sea. Killer Kross. Because, no one knows who the fuck he was. And then the only reason I knew who Killer Kross was because I got my hands on those Amped Anthology videos before they ever got acquired by Impact. I'm a fucking sleuth like that. And I was like, who's this dude, Killer Kross? He's exactly who he was in Killer Kross. He goes, Kevin Kross, the Toll Man. Yeah, it's dumb. But it's like one of those charming dumb, like, could you, Rhino, he called himself Rhino Richards at one, like, that's dumb. What are you doing? Come on. You're dumb. Don't be dumb. Rhino's so much better than Rhino Richards. Who are you, the Fantastic Four stick guy? Come on. So he was on there with guys like J.R. Kratos and the late Virgil Flynn, and one of these days, one of our podcasts is going to cover the Amped Anthology series because there's stuff there, man. And Kross was put into the Global Force Wrestling Heavyweight Championship tournament, but he lost a first-round match to Bobby Roode. But you're not getting a first-round match with Bobby Roode in a title tournament if you don't have high hopes, and Jeff Jarrett had high hopes for Kross, and it's very obvious why. So, with that kind of being the situation, he wants more money because he feels he deserves it, and because he has to take care of a familial situation. He feels unsafe in Impact, but on the flip side, Impact has given him his name value and given him the ability to make more money elsewhere, as well as, for the most part, never having anyone speak ill against them. And let's be fair, wrestlers don't give a fuck. You think Scott Steiner ever held his tongue? That dude got sued like 20 times by Hulk Hogan. None of them stuck either, because fuck, Scott Steiner don't go down for anyone. Scott Steiner does not take the JOB for anyone, brother. So I guess long and short of it is the Killer Kross situation is a very sticky wicket, and it's not easily dissected. And guys like Sean Ross Sapp will make up stories more than likely. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. And other guys with a more sterling reputation are not verifying that side of the story, at least yet. They might come to a point where in a day or two I see Bill Pritchard say, oh yeah, they totally have a gag order on talents not to shame the company. But even all right, I know the inclination about that is, oh, what kind of shady shit's going on there? Maybe nothing. You can't just assume a negative.
Yeah, that's the whole someone pleading the fifth, and everyone's like, oh, he must have done it because he pleaded the fifth. It's like, it's not how that works.
Here's the thing: if I get accused of harassing somebody, and they say you need to turn over your cell phone, you do that, we'll exonerate you. But I got some super raunchy photos with a 22-year-old bikini model. I ain't fucking turning over my phone. And if you ask me why I'm not turning over my phone, I ain't telling you why. Because that's my own personal business, and you don't have a fucking right to it. But those kinds of inclinations, those kinds of added-on factors, make situations far much worse than they need to be. And that's why a lot of times when you hear, well, so-and-so didn't turn over their phone, or so-and-so didn't give us access to something, well, that doesn't mean they're guilty. It just means they don't want to fucking look like an asshole. Hey, if I get accused for money laundering, and then you come at me and you're about to find, copious amounts of, I don't know, granny porn. I don't want you finding out my stuff. Fuck no. Charge me. Dude, I'd rather serve time.
Man, you into gilfs, man?
I was trying to think of one that didn't sound awful. I didn't want to say tranny porn because I didn't want to be that guy who was dehumanizing a whole sect of people. I don't know. It's not embarrassing. I was trying to think of something embarrassing. and not illegal. That was a big one. Not illegal.
Yes. That's a good one.
What? Are you going to come at me because I'm looking at, college co-ed porn? Ooh. Oh. So scandalous.
Scandalous.
I like attractive, pretty girls. Ooh. Well, women. I call everyone girls and boys. Just fucking calm down.
So do I.
I also call all dogs puppies. You want to come at me for that one, too?
Oh, that's a cute puppy.
Dude, I saw this 16-year-old not dachshund, not like a Doberman. Big old, he's big old, like a thin, less furry Beethoven. What are those called? with the big pointy ears. They look like little Yorkshires, but they're like huge. Like they look like great, not Saint Bernards. They're like giant horses or small horses. They're giant dogs, mini horses. I think it's like a Great Dane. I think kind of like a squared face, right? Is that a Great Dane?
It might be.
Well, I saw a dog. I'm gonna call a Great Dane. It looked all of 16 years old, and it was kind of like a little wobbly. Like you could tell he was near the end. But I looked at him like, oh, it's a puppy, because he's so goddamn cute. Puppies are great. So, just because someone doesn't turn over something doesn't mean they're instantly guilty. It just means they don't want to incriminate themselves on something else. Like if you're cheating on a spouse, you don't want that getting out, and in the course of an investigation, that will get out.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the end of it, the only thing we'll ever truly know is this: there's not a lot of turnover in Impact, at least on Impact's side. Well, I mean, on talent side. Like, the only two names that I can think of that left the company that weren't let go by the company were Johnny Impact and, three, the Lucha Bros. And the Lucha Bros just got outbid. Same with Santana and Ortiz. They were happy with their time there. They wanted to come back, but they had a number in mind.
Mm-hmm.
AEW had that number. Impact's like, we have close to that number, and they're like, no. And then they're like, okay. So I don't buy a lot of this. A lot of this is, again, typical doom and gloom. Impact is dying bullshit. But it's not even true. You know, the last couple of months have been very good for them financially. They are constantly growing on their social medias. It's been nothing but positive growth for over a year on all their accounts, except for Twitch, which only started, I think, in January. But even that has been just constantly growing. People are adding and subscribing and watching at increased numbers every week. That's a good sign. Just because their pursuit numbers suck is more of a sign of pursuit. They have nearly 3 million YouTube subscribers. I'd kill for a tenth of that. I would love if we had 300,000 YouTube subscribers. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
I could monetize the fuck out of things. We could have real advertisers again. Remember that time for 6 months we had advertisers, and then they pulled their ads because they actually listened to our content? I remember. That was a fun 6 months. We were legitimate. Can't legitimize the illegitimate, though. So I believe this Killer Kross stuff has much ado about nothing. I believe a lot of this is miscommunication and taking things out of context. I don't have any ill will towards Killer Kross, and I won't. He's handling things professionally, and while he's not being perfect, who is?
Right.
I feel like heaping the blame on Impact is also just unnecessary and stupid, and it goes into this idea that exists on social media of canceling things that you deem immoral or incorrect. And that's been Impact's whole mantra for their existence, was people trying to cancel them for fucking 17 years. Holy fuck world. Impact started when I was a goddamn sophomore, going into my sophomore year. Like, fuck. I wasn't even 16 yet. I'm 33, Zach.
Poor bastard.
I feel it. I feel it in my back. I feel it in my knees. I feel it in my soul. So, do you have any thoughts on this Killer Kross Impact situation as it unfolds?
No, not really. I mean, as of right now, as you said, it's a whole bunch of speculation and people reading too far into things before there's actual information being thrown out there. It's unfortunately that's pretty much how everything goes anymore. It's just one thing gets said and everyone starts stirring up shit. It's like, just relax, calm the fuck down. Let's wait and see how it all unfolds, and then we will give our opinions as all the chips fall into place.